amount of people that can get this going. Also, the SFO don't have the best track record in investigation. Juries tend to acquit probably nearly as much as they actually convict in a Crown Court. And also, when your barrister comes along for your prosecution, he will have reams of paper and it will take a long, long time. Even so, if you're guilty, bang to rights, then I would just go and put your hands up and pay your fine. This is for people really that have all these adequate procedures in place. The big problem though is reputation, and it doesn't matter if you go through your nice investigation and get found guilty. The problem you're going to have through the press and all of that is going to be huge, and your name is going to be thrown through the mud. And ours, particularly our British gas brand, we know that we're a big target for that. So trust is quite important. Okay, so let's have a look. So if you deal with state-owned entities, if you don't know that they're state-owned entities, you might have a few problems. These can really hurt you. You need to know who you're dealing with. So it might be worth checking who you're actually dealing with. You know, are these people connected to governments, or former governments, government officials, that sort of thing. We have been dealing in some African countries at the moment where we did find, we used WorldCheck, funny enough, to have to do our due diligence. We outsourced, and we actually did find some connections to government people. Which, funny enough, the British Embassy said were okay to deal with. So sometimes you need to go a bit beyond that. And also, are they politically exposed? And yes, he is. But would you know that Tony Blair is actually on the politically exposed register? That doesn't mean to say he's corrupt. That doesn't mean to say anything. You'll get people on there that actually are quite good. It's just that they've sort of done the rounds, and one country might not like them so much. So because they are a pet doesn't mean to say they're bad people. And this last one you'll quite like. Also, criminal records. Did you know that the chairman of Smith & Wesson, if you don't know, they're a gun company. Did you know the chairman of Smith & Wesson, it was found out that he had actually done 15 years for armed robbery? Do you think that might be a bit of a problem? The nice thing for him is he's now a non-exec director. He's not chairman anymore. But, you know, so we've got to be sure who we're appointing, and it can be internal as well as external. Okay. Some of these I'm going to flick through because you're being hammered for certain things at the moment. In section 17 you're going to be absolutely hammered on. But obviously you can see on that it's an offence for a person associated. Associated is an important word, and Stuart went a bit on about that. With X, so if a person associated with X bribes another person with the intention of retaining business or retains an advantage, it's an offence. You've got to decide what an associate is. That is really, really important. This is a strict liability offence, and that is that you're guilty until you've proven yourself innocent, not the other way around. The term associated person is particularly broad, and it's made that way, and it can deal with such things as commissions, hospitality, charitable donations, all of those come into it. But at the end of the day, this is beyond reasonable doubt, and what they're going to look for is, has the man on the clappermonger does, would he say that that is an associate, would he say that is a bribe? If you get to the stage where it's like that, then maybe you've got a good case in court. If you can decide that actually anybody will know that that's a bribe, then you might have a problem. I think we've gone through most of this as to what's what, but generally what they're saying is that the Department of Justice is that anything above 10% commission might be slightly dodgy. Anything